Hello and welcome to the Business Channel in association with CIBSE, the Chartered Institution of Building Services Engineers, today looking at refurbishing and retrofitting workspaces. The UK aims to lead the drive towards a low-carbon economy to combat both climate change and rising fuel prices. Cutting the carbon emissions of buildings will go a long way towards meeting the target of an 80% reduction in carbon by 2050. So what solutions are available and what impact do they have on reducing the amount that we emit and the energy uses in workspaces?
Retrofit is really important because most of the buildings that we see in the UK today are still going to be standing in 2050, and buildings are huge gas guzzlers of energy, and we need to reduce that energy use right across the building stock. So it's really important that we tackle that, both for environmental reasons but also for economic reasons, to save money on our energy bills.
The cost of energy is a growing issue for businesses, and they're looking at how they can address that. And energy efficiency, as well as renewable energy, are great solutions to how they can reduce their costs and actually make their business more efficient.
Our workplaces have quite an impact on the amount of carbon that we generate as a country. Buildings are responsible for nearly half of carbon emissions, and of that, slightly more comes from our homes than from where we work. But heating is the biggest single contributor to that. So anything we can do to reduce the amount of energy used on heating will help to cut our carbon footprint.
The introduction of compulsory energy efficiency ERP, that's energy-related products legislation, is the biggest issue that the fan industry has ever faced and will have a great impact on CIBSE members. The new directive will drive manufacturers to develop products that meet the new efficiency levels. The ELTA group of companies provides quality fans and related ventilation equipment to customers across the world. I spoke to their technical director, Alan Macklin, to find out more.
We offer a broad range of products to our CIBSE members, from filters through to fans, air handling units and heat recovery products. The biggest user of electricity in the UK is motor-driven systems, with fans using 22% of the total energy usage. The main purpose of ventilation is to provide good indoor air quality. And to achieve that in the modern building environment, what we are finding is buildings are becoming increasingly more airtight, and the only way to ventilate them is through powered ventilation. There are three major aspects towards powered ventilation. That is to have an efficient fan, to have a control system, and to look after the system resistance. As a fan manufacturer, we can offer efficient fans and control systems to achieve that, and we can offer advice to CIBSE members on how best to utilise their fans and design their systems. ELTA Group is an established global manufacturer with a core competency in adjustable pitch axial flow fans. We also introduced the world's first adjustable pitch mixed flow fan a number of years back. Our product portfolio extends from 7-watt domestic fans through to 2-metre diameter axial flow fans, including high temperature smoke extract and hazardous application products. For air handling units, the smallest product we do is single room heat recovery, through to large air handling units for major infrastructure products, and we also do TB1 thermally broken construction air handling units. We offer as well a complete range of filters, from building services applications through to biological and nuclear industry and operating theatre applications. Our information centre includes comprehensive installation maintenance instructions, wiring diagrams, product literature, and we also offer an information system which provides application data, including number of air changes per hour, to our CIBSE compatriots. The Energy-Related Product Directive is being implemented through Regulation 327/2011, which becomes mandatory as from the 1st of January 2013. 2 years later, it gets increased by around about 4 percentage points, making even more onerous demands on fan manufacturers. To achieve this, we've had to completely redesign a vast proportion of our product range, and the stated aims of the European regulators is that initially 30% of existing fans would be removed from the market, and 2 years later a further 20%. This involves redesigning product, making greater use of EC motors and frequency inverters and high efficiency motors. As far as the customer is concerned, the benefit to them would be far greatly reduced operating costs. We invest a vast amount of money in product design. It's incredibly important to our company as a group. We have 3 ISO 5801 approved laboratories around the world, and the main lab facility down at Refurb includes a structurally isolated reverberant chamber. The only way to actually organically grow our business, we find, is to develop new products. Innovation is one of the major priorities within our group, and this will be reflected as from January 2013, when we will be launching a whole lot of new products, including several for which we have applied for patents. I strongly believe that quality is integral to product integrity. A case in point on how we actually implement this is that within our group we have 4 separate sites around the world who are all EN 12101-3 certified to produce emergency smoke extract fans. The Energy Related Products Directive is going to have a major impact on all fan manufacturers. We are well geared to take advantage of this. We have put substantial effort and time into developing new products, and we are adamant we'll be ready for the next 4 or 5 years.
Control systems can have a huge impact on the way a building works. Unfortunately, we see far too many examples of buildings where the controls appear to be an afterthought. So for somebody who is thinking of either having a new building built or a refurbishment, one of the key questions to ask the people who are working for you is all around controls.
MEDEM design and manufacture electronic control panels for buildings relating to gas safety, indoor environment monitoring and energy monitoring. They're also constantly developing new ideas to help the building industry meet the increased demand for safety and energy management. I spoke to Managing Director Chris Dearden, who explained more.
At MEDEM UK, we design and we build firmware, software solutions and the instrumentation solutions to put together complete packages for the built environment to meet certain needs such as gas safety and environmental control and energy monitoring. At MEDEM, we're not just a company that build packages to ship to sites to help them to answer situations regarding safety or environmental monitoring. We also advise on standards, legislation, best practice, and also on our findings from sites, from our previous experience within the industry. Now, the SEC product range is a multi-solution product. It's designed to be used in school boiler houses, or any boiler house in fact that's commercial. It's designed to be used in school classrooms or laboratories, commercial laboratories, and also in commercial kitchens. Now, it helps to lower the CO2 emissions from a building by controlling the ventilation rate and therefore minimising heat loss dependent upon occupancy. But at the same time, the same control panel also enables the gas safety, for example, to be monitored by way of checking for leaks continuously or checking for leaks in the morning when the system is first switched on. It also adds to a building's security as well. Well, we help because our products are designed to monitor the environment within a building in order that we could, for example, control the ventilation dependent upon the occupancy of the room, the area of the building. Well, the sectors of the building industry that we operate in are mainly commercial, light industrial, such as the education sector, public sector buildings, private companies such as the restaurant chains, restaurant groups, and more recently with the energy monitoring systems, we've started to work with the heavy industry such as recycling plants, and that's quite a promising future for us. We do design, build and test our own products here in the UK. Everything that we do is in-house. It's all our own instrumentation, software, writing skills, and we test each product individually before it leaves the company. We are an ISO 9001 manufacturer, and as such, each and every product that we design and build is tested by us before it leaves the factory. All our products are independently tested by government-approved testing houses before they are put onto the market as well. One of the biggest areas that we concentrate on as MEDEM UK is support. It's not just about after-sales support, it's also about pre-sale support. which is the help and the advice that we can give within our specialised area to the engineer in regard to the type of product and the legislation and the best practice which needs to be used. Support and help to clients is almost the most important thing that we do as a company. We concentrate on advising on the latest standards and also on the latest best practice, up and coming legislation. We as a company do get ourselves involved in committees looking at new standards and new ways to improve things within the built environment.
There are a number of things that we can do that are relatively simple and don't cost a great deal. One very simple thing, does somebody actually pay attention to how much energy you use month by month? And yes, there'll be variations because you use more heating energy in winter than you do in summer. You ought to have an idea, how much energy are we using month by month? And you get into a second year, you can begin to compare. How did it do against last year? It's a very simple thing to do, but it can tell you a lot about how well your building's running.
Advanced Air is a manufacturer of air distribution equipment and fire safety products based in Norfolk. Its engineering team has developed fan coils which offer up to 40% energy savings over comparable units. I spoke to General Manager Andrew Sargent, who told me more.
The product we would put forward for them to save an energy would be the Epic fan coil. It has the lowest SFP of any product. We also offer that in VAV, which is variable air volume, in a fan-assisted VAV box. So we do offer quite a range that offers energy-saving products. And I think once engineers are seeing the fan coil and what it can achieve, they are starting to take us on board in their designs for fan coils. What it does is it gives pressure independence, true pressure independence. Now, there are products out there that can offer something similar, but what it means is we can supply a product that would deliver the correct amount of air volume no matter what the resistance in the system is, whether it's one fan, two fans. And what that does is it helps balance the system by achieving the low SFP. And we can demonstrate to people that in the design of their system they can lower that even further with ours because it is true VAV fan coil.
Well, now it's time to talk to Advanced Air's engineering manager, Jerry Butler. Now, talking about carbon emissions, how can you particularly help people to reduce theirs?
By directly relating the energy consumption of a fan and motor assembly, and we have an Epic control system which enables very low specific fan powers, SFPs, to be achieved, probably down to about 0.15 watts per litre per second, which is really the lowest in the marketplace.
Now, how does the Epic fan coil unit manage to achieve such a low SFP?
We've approached the fan coil unit design in a slightly different way. Our fan deck is unique. We use a large fan on its side and we have a larger than normal motor. But this motor is unique in so much as it's programmable. We have a printed circuit card, which is Epic card, and we've got an embedded program within that. And that really is the key to it all. What it does is it will reset the fan speed to overcome the resistance of the system. So it doesn't matter if there's extended ductwork, extra resistance through flexible ductwork or small diffusers, unforeseen obstructions. The fan will always deliver the required air volume consistent with achieving the performance, cooling and heating required. And this is unique to ourselves, no one else can do that.
Now, the fan coils market has now become twice the size of the chilled beams market. Why do you think that is?
Well, chilled beams were very, very efficient, and fan coils at the time had AC motors in, so they weren't as efficient. Now, what's happened with the development of the fan coil and introducing a DC motor has brought that efficiency right down to the level of a chilled beam. Now, the benefits of a fan coil are that it's cheaper than chilled beam, it's more flexible, and it gives far more options to the clients.
Now, do you ever work with clients on design matters?
Yes, we do. I mean, there's one case where we worked on the Shard and the engineers wanted one of our design managers to actually be on site once a week. So we actually took them up on that, and he had his desk and he actually sat on that job all the way through, even now to completion. He's still involved in it. So we feel that it actually helps the client. It actually saves us money as well, because there's more chance of getting everything correct if you're working with the engineers. So everybody wins.
A key area in refurbishment is looking at the efficiency of the main energy using systems. So heating, cooling systems if you have them, lighting. They're all big end users. And modern efficient heating systems can significantly cut the energy used and your fuel bill and still keep people comfortable. And if you have got a cooling system, then it's important to make sure it's properly controlled, it's not on when the heating is on, and that you're only using it when you really need to.
Lutron is the global market leader in lighting controls. Its products range from individual dimmers to total light management systems which regulate entire building complexes. I spoke to Bruce Griffin, the Director of Energy Solutions, who explained that by reducing energy consumption and the demand for light bulbs, the company is saving energy one dimmer at a time.
Basically, every time that you dim lights at all, you save energy. Currently, from day one actually, Lutron has been saving energy with its products, because controlling lights does save energy. So in the last 51 years we've been doing that, and we currently estimate that we save in the region of 10 billion kilowatt hours. Well, that's a big number, but translated that is approximately 2 million acres of woodland that would be required to consume the CO2 that we actually save, and that's annually.
Now, tell us about the flexibility that you offer in your commercial energy solutions, and also the key benefits, and perhaps you have a case study?
The primary ones at entry level, we have a product called Energy Power Saver, which is a retrofit solution. So you literally take a switch off the wall, replace it with the switching device from Lutron, and then we have a wireless occupancy sensor that's intelligent. It has 3 settings so that you can have minor movement or major movement. The beauty of that is sitting at a desk, it'll pick up literally keystrokes with your fingers and know you're in the space, so no turning lights off when they're not supposed to. And it also has a sensor in it, so it knows when it's daylight, when it's day, when it's night. So if you want it to turn the lights on, it can do it at night time only, or it can just do vacancy. So it engages the client to push the button, turn the lights on when they come in, and the device is responsible for turning them off when they leave.
Now, you've talked a little bit about refurbs, and is it mainly a whole building that you would deal with, or just a single room, or how does it usually work?
It can be anything from a single room up to some of the largest buildings in the world. We have signed a contract with the Empire State Building, which is probably the largest refurbishment of certainly a refurbishment of the best known building, I would imagine, in the world, and that's every aspect of environmental control of lighting.
Now, how do you test your products before they get to the market?
We run a system called alpha, beta and gamma testing, so it's 3 different phases as it's being developed, and when it's to those levels then we put it out into the market. But before products leave our manufacturing facilities, we 100% quality control every product. We don't do random testing, we don't do X number, we do every single product before it leaves.
Now, how important is ongoing maintenance and operation to your clients?
Absolutely huge. If we can engage with the client, we will always produce better energy savings. From day one, a client doesn't know what they want in their building. They move in, a building evolves as time goes by. If we can engage with the client, then the client can make those adjustments as facilities change, and they can utilise the very best savings. New York City, the New York Times building, the properties manager there managed to shave an additional 20% of energy savings just by fine-tuning every aspect, all of the occupancy sensors, daylighting, etc. through the building, and that was just by fine-tuning it over probably a year after first occupancy.
Now, you operate globally, and that must be a big advantage when you're dealing with CIBSE members who have properties here in the UK, but also they're looking at their properties elsewhere.
It's a big deal for CIBSE members. The reality is very few manufacturers can support product in all different countries around the world. You have different currents, you have different voltages, different frequencies. The net result is one of our customers, very large client, said to us just recently they couldn't even buy furniture from one company and get it delivered to all the different countries where they have offices. We can do that, and not only that, the front end is identical from country to country. So if you have a client that has multiple offices, if they're travelling, they know exactly which button to push to operate the lights and the shades. Life is busy. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to operate the lights.
Lighting is probably the second largest contributor to office energy consumption. And with the advent of light-emitting diodes, LEDs for lighting, and there are a number of commercial systems now available, we're seeing quite significant cuts in the energy that's used in lighting and the carbon that comes from those lighting systems. And that's an area of really rapid change, and we can expect to see much more of that change over the next few years.
We've worked with many companies across all sectors. A good example is W.J. Aldis, who are a furniture retailer. They looked at upgrading their lighting in both their stores and also in their warehouse. They invested £81,000 using one of our loans, and they're saving £41,000 a year in electricity costs.
Omega Flex Limited is the UK manufacturer and distributor of a product called CSST, corrugated stainless steel tube. Its trademark brand name is Track Pipe. The main advantage is a reduction in installation time and cost. Let's hear now from the Sales and Marketing Director, Tony Dark.
Ultimately, Track Pipe is a product that's responsible for distributing gas between residential, domestic, commercial and industrial buildings. CSST is particularly well suited to retrofit and refurbishment, the reason being that often existing service ducts or risers have to be used by the installer or engineer to install the gas pipework into. CSST makes it very, very easy for an installer to feed the product just as they would electric cable between the meter and where the appliance is going to be located within the new property. Many mechanical consultants already using Track Pipe and are well aware of the benefits of using it over rigid materials such as copper and steel. The key benefit to using Track Pipe is that it's much more quicker to install, so work can get completed on site much more quickly. This reduces obviously time on site, also reduces travel and transportation costs to site. Because it is so light and so quick to install, you can bend it and form it by hand. It makes it very quick and simple to route through a property. It's in long continuous lengths, sometimes up to 90 metres in length, and we also do custom lengths as well. Because it's in these long continuous lengths, you could have as little as 2 joints on an installation, one at the start of the installation at the gas meter and one at the fixed appliance. To join Track Pipe, if you have to, and you can join it to rigid materials like copper and steel anyway, we have a special patented fitting called an auto flare fitting. Now the auto flare fitting automatically flares the end of the pipe to form a metal to metal seal, so therefore there's no paste, no jointing compounds, which makes it again very quick, very simple and easy to install. There's absolutely no specialist tools required. All you would need is a wheel tube cutter, a utility knife and a couple of pair of spanners, and that's all you need to tighten up the auto flare fittings. You can use CSST anywhere you would normally use rigid copper or rigid steel. You can use it in domestic, commercial, industrial applications, and you can use it inside the property, outside the property. You can bury it in the ground, you can bury it in the screed, and because it's got a yellow polyethylene jacket over the corrugated stainless steel, it's already corrosion protected for you, so therefore there's no additional time or labour spent wrapping joints or wrapping the pipework to stop it corroding. The yellow polyethylene jacket also has flame spread and smoke density inhibitors in it, so it has a 2-hour fire resistance when you're running it through, say, a protected shaft. So again, Track Pipe will save you time, money, and because it's so much efficient, less time on site, again, saving in the long run on the project. It's manufactured here in the UK, in Oxfordshire. And the fact that we control the entire quality process in the UK means that we know that every product that leaves the factory is 100% gas tight before it leaves the factory. But what's really important is that the product, although we can do everything we can possibly do to make sure the quality is the highest possible standard, it needs to be installed strictly in accordance with our instructions. Therefore, what Omega Flex Limited do is we offer free training to anyone specifying or installing Track Pipe. And we can do that on site, we can do it in the business's offices, or we can do it at our manufacturing facility in Banbury. And by ensuring that they have the training in place and that they're installing the product correctly, it will give a good joint first time, every time, so therefore ultimately a very safe installation. And also what we'd ask specifiers to do, and M&E consultants, is if they are specifying track pipe, also specify that the installers who at the end of the day who are installing it are trained.
Certainly when looking at plans for retrofits and energy efficiency, it's important that people look at perhaps the existing use of the building, but also the future use of the building, and also perhaps look at what is the expected length of occupation of that building and what's going to be used inside the building. Looking at all of the different services, whether it be the heating, lighting, but also the consumption of energy within the building, need to be considered as a whole, and that can make sure that the solutions that are implemented are the most effective and the most efficient for that building today, but also going forwards into the future.
Interface is the global market leader in the design and production of carpet tiles, and also one of the first companies to publicly commit to sustainability and to eliminating its impact on the environment by 2020. Its range of products and services can directly help in a low-carbon refurb. I spoke to the Director of Sales and Marketing for Northern Europe, the UK and Ireland, Steve Hamilton, who told me more.
It's beyond products. I think when you think about carpet tile, the concept we have at Interface is that there's a variety of additional add-on services we should be providing. For example, we have something called Tactile, which is a glueless installation method which effectively bonds the carpet tiles together without actually using any adhesive at all. So there's no need for adhesives, and there's no VOCs as a result of that as well. The whole purpose of is quick installation. The concept was created through looking at geckos actually, and how they actually can stick to a surface but also lift vertically their feet to move on that particular surface. So innovation for us is at the heart of some of these solutions.
Now you also do furniture lifting?
We do, yes. We have a system called Renovisions, which allows us to create a situation where when replacing carpet tile traditionally, there is a process of putting office furniture into storage, moving office furniture, or even moving cabinets and paperwork. With Renovisions, we can effectively just raise everything off the floor, take out the old carpet tiles, and then install the new carpet tiles. It's quite a novel and quick idea. It reduces time of installation. It means that employees can actually leave the office in the evening, and when they return in the morning, there's actually a new carpet installed in the office.
I think the biggest change that we need to see in the way that our building stock runs is not actually in the way we build it or the equipment we put in it. It's in the way we manage it and the way we control it. If we did that much better, we could cut UK energy use by anything from 10 to 20%. And when you look at some of the concerns around keeping the lights on, about having enough energy to go round in a few years' time, such simple things really ought to be much higher on people's list of priorities. So just managing it right. We watch miles per gallon with our car. We ought to be watching the energy used in our buildings much more.
Solutions for cutting energy usage and reducing carbon emissions are available now, and getting fully up to speed on the options available will determine how far CIBSE members who are involved in retrofits and refurbs will go towards meeting the government's carbon reduction targets by 2050. Well, that's all we've got time for at the moment, but if you'd like to know more about any of the organisations that we featured in this programme, then look at our website, thebusinesschannel.tv. Bye-bye for now.